Alright, so we have lesson 29.
Mine.
And you can read the introduction.
Alright, so we'll be in Genesis 23 through 24. And this is really about after Sarah died and was buried, Abraham sent a servant to find a wife for his son Isaac. And the servant obeyed him, and the servant met Rebecca, and Isaac and Rebecca finally married each other.
Okay, so I want you to guys imagine a young man and a young woman who are in love and who hope to build a lasting relationship. So cute.
What are some important choices this couple would need to make if they want to build a relationship that will last?
Roger?
Repeat the question again.
What are some important choices this couple would need to make if they wanted to build a relationship that will last?
Yeah, don't fight.
Romina?
I guess they have to decide where they want to live and all those new marriage stuff.
Well, I think that to be able to build a relationship that will last, you will need trust on that person and also know that he loves you and that she loves you.
Okay. Does anybody have their gospel library? Okay. Could someone read this quote by
Russell
Elder?
M. Nelson.
Yeah, Russell M. Nelson.
I'll read it.
Okay.
A couple in love can choose a marriage of the highest quality or a lesser type that will not endure, or they can choose neither. The best choice is a celestial marriage.
Why is celestial marriage in the temple or eternal marriage the best kind of marriage?
In eternal marriages, righteous couples are sealed forever by the power of the priesthood, and the family unit continues eternally.
In your own words,
In your own
In
word.
my own words,
without looking at your
I can't.
Why is celestial marriage the best kind of marriage?
Margie?
Well, because, like, why would you not want anything other than a celestial marriage? It sounds pretty cool. So,
It's got a good
Bishop.
name.
it's got a great name.
Because you're sealed for eternity, right? And it takes a higher level of commitment to reach celestial marriage. So like if you think about commitment levels where you have just like a boyfriend and a girlfriend, right? People who just live together, their commitment level is kind of just a verbal agreement, right? And then you have a higher level of commitment, which is a marriage, a civil marriage, where there's some paperwork involved and your name is, you are legally bound to provide for your spouse or stuff like that. And then you have a higher level of commitment, which is celestial marriage, which is not only do you have a regular civil marriage, but you're also bound before the Lord, and you have moral obligations and spiritual like standards that you have to live, like paying tithing and living on chastity, all this stuff to be able to keep that celestial marriage. So it takes a high level of commitment.
Okay, Abraham and Sarah entered into a covenant with God, and this covenant allowed them to have an eternal marriage.
Well, Genesis 23, to sum it up, it's pretty much Sarah died and Abraham mourned for her and arranged for her body to be buried. That's pretty much what the whole chapter is about.
The Lord had promised Abraham and Sarah that their son Isaac would receive the blessings of Abraham's covenant, and that all families of the earth would be blessed through Isaac's descendants.
What did Isaac need to do in order for these promises to be fulfilled?
Well, just like all of us, to receive the eternal blessings, we have to receive an eternal marriage.
Okay, so I'm gonna read Genesis 24, verses 1 through 3. Okay. And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house that ruled over all that he had, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell.
Who did Abraham now want Isaac to marry? Romino.
Rebecca?
Just
No,
No, he wanted,
he marries her.
yeah.
It's in the last verse of Genesis 24, verse 1 through 3.
He didn't want her to take a
He
daughter.
didn't want her to, didn't he?
No, with
The daughters of
Canaanites.
the
Oh, Canaan, I don't know how to say his name.
Canaanites or something.
Yeah, Canaanites.
Okay. So the Canaanites did not believe in the Lord, and no Canaanite woman would have been prepared to receive the responsibilities and blessings of the Abrahamic covenant and eternal marriage. The decision Isaac faced concerning whether or not to marry in the covenant is just like our choice today of whether to receive the marriage sealing ordinance in the temple.
okay. How many of you guys want to have an eternal marriage? Go into the temple. I think most of the girls at Young Women's teach us to be able to be with someone and get there and have a marriage with an ex-missionary. Not necessarily an ex-missionary, but someone who would truly take you to the temple.
Okay, so could someone read Genesis 24, verse 4 aloud? And look for the assignment Abraham gave to his servant. Hey, could you read that?
24:4.
But thou shalt go into my country, into my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac. Yeah, Isaac.
Isaac.
Something.
In Spanish, it's Isaac.
Okay, what assignment did Abraham give to his servant?
Go to my country, into my kindred.
Okay.
What do Abraham's instruction to his servant teach us to improve the importance of awaiting the blessings of eternal marriage?
Well, it teaches them that it's worth great effort, right? Exactly.
And sacrifice to obtain the blessings of eternal marriage.
Because the journey to Abraham's location in the land of Canaan to Mesopotamia, where his relatives lived, was a distance of 1,200 miles. So he had to go like 1,200 miles. They didn't have a car back then or a jet. It was 600 miles, but it's 1,200 round trip. So there's like donkeys and horses and stuff. It probably took months to go 600 miles.
Okay. What efforts and sacrifices might today's youth have to make in order to obtain the blessings of eternal marriage?
George, you answer the question.
Is it good?
What
Efforts and sacrifices might today's youth have to make in order to obtain the blessings of eternal marriage?
No. Finding the right girl.
Okay, besides finding the right girl.
Huh?
Besides finding the right girl.
What do they need to do to fulfill the blessings?
Yeah, to have a temple marriage.
No.
What do you have to do to be worthy of going to the temple?
Keep the commandments.
There.
Okay, so this is what we're going into is Abraham's servant meets Rebecca and her family. So, do you want to read? Just read that. Genesis 24. Alright, so follow along and look for what Abraham's servant did to fulfill the promise he had made to Abraham.
You want me to read verse 10?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hands. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia and to the city of Nahor. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of the evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, Let down thy pitcher, I pray thee that I may drink. And she shall say, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac. And thereby shall I know that thou hast showed kindness unto my master.
Okay, so, like, what did Abraham's servant have to do to fulfill the promise he had made to Abraham? Yeah. What did Abraham's servant have to do to fulfill the promise he had made to Abraham?
Get away. Get away.
Oh, I thought you said get a life.
Well, he had to travel,
He had to travel.
and then he had to go try to find.
Isaac.
I mean, think about it. If you guys had to go to another city and then basically bring back somebody on a blind date, 600 miles away, that's like you go up to Georgia and you're finding someone for a blind date for your friend.
Okay, so the servant did not yet know whether this young woman was a relative of Abraham. And the next few verses, 21 through 25, they explain that the servant asked Rebecca about her family and learned that she was the granddaughter of Abraham's brother Nahor.
Yeah.
Okay, can someone read Genesis 24, 26, 27, 28? Okay, thank you.
And the man bowed down his head and worshipped the Lord. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, who hath not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, the Lord led me to the house of my master's brethren. And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things.
Okay, so what did Abraham's servant and what did Rebecca realize after their mutual connection through Abraham? What did they realize?
That they were like cousins or something.
Okay. So could someone read Genesis 24, verses 50 and 51, and look for how Rebecca's brother Laban and her father Bethuel, responded to Abraham's servant. Could you read that, Mom?
Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing we proceeded from the Lord, we cannot speak unto thee by it. Behold, Rebekah is before thee, take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, and as the Lord hath spoken.
Okay. So, how did Rebekah's brother Laban and her father Bethuel respond to Abraham's servant?
Did they say no? What did they say, Roger?
Go.
Take her.
They said take her.
Just take her and go.
That's what my brothers would say.
That's what your parents would say.
My brothers.
Oh, that's what your brothers would say.
Okay. So, and then the rest of the lesson is about how Isaac and Rebekah are sealed in eternal marriage. And how and this lesson was really just like to show importance of how eternal marriage is, why eternal marriage is here today.
And why it's so important.
Say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.